health, better life.
Those people.
Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank on WCCS. It is 7:46, and our interview presented by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm, best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. And this is the interactive segment for this morning, so if you want to call in and ask a question of Bob Pollock of the County Extension Office, you can do so by calling 724-479-1160 or 349-WCCS. But Bob, good to see you again.
Good morning. Good to see you.
How's it going?
It's going fine.
So we're now getting into the. I know we were talking about a couple of ideas before we got on the air today, but one thing that has been, I guess, on everybody's mind. Yeah, we've been needing the water as of late, but we didn't need it all at once. But so flooding, it's affected a lot of people, especially in the Clymer area. I mean,
right.
We've been hearing about their cleanup efforts. Have you been hearing anything concerning flooding with any of our farmers?
Feast or famine, kind of thing. And it was, very, again, spotty.
Mm-hmm.
Although this was more of a general rain that hit everybody, there still were areas that received a lot more than others. But we needed rain. Maybe not quite that much.
Yeah.
In that short period of time.
In a short period of time when the ground's still dry. And
one of the things, and we just a couple weeks ago briefly talked about it, but was on, like tomatoes are a good example. They don't like
too much moisture.
Like
no.
And we were dry, and if you hadn't been watering regularly, there those tomatoes are out in the sun. And your training system will affect how much foliage is there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're staking and if you do some suckering and pruning and things, you've got foliage there, but still the fruit are showing in the sun. That skin can get a little tougher, a little harder.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we do get a rain, we can get a lot of cracking, splitting of fruit.
I see.
It happens like automatically. And the temperature difference, that cold water hits that warm surface. And then the other thing is, if the plants don't have enough, if they're a little deficient on moisture within the plant and in the fruit, they'll start taking in that water.
Yeah.
And that's another way that those fruit will split.
Yeah, it'll split like holding a tomato over an open flame.
Yeah, and then with that skin that's a little firmer, tougher, then that can cause that splitting in a hurry. So you can downgrade your fruit quality, immediately as soon as you start getting all those splits and cracks, and then they'll start to decline quicker too.
Mm-hmm. So
people might be seeing that in the garden and wondering, well, gee, why did that happen?
Yeah.
So a lot of those variations in temperature and then lack of moisture in most cases can start to cause some of those fruit issues, but you'll get little concentric rings where the stem attaches to the fruit, and that'll start to look a little, off and not nice and smooth. And if it's a red tomato, red and yellow, solid yellow, it'll get checking and marks on there, and then literally splitting of the cracking of that skin surface in various places among that fruit. But there's still, if you harvest them. And that tends to happen to more ripe fruit also versus green fruit.
Okay, so newer crops are okay at this point.
Yes, so other fruit that are coming on might have gone through that and been fine, but anything that was getting near to ripe can be greatly affected by that. But still, that can be used. You can harvest that, cut it for fresh use, process it, as soon as possible.
All right.
And you'll still get good harvest.
We're now getting into a time of year. I think you said that that a lot of people should be keeping some things in mind as we're starting now to transition from the summer months into the fall months, and this is now the time to start thinking about some of those things.
Yes, it is. Regularly, it's good just to walk around, look at plants, how are they doing? Are there insect issues? With the drier, hotter weather, we can tend to have more problems with things like spider mites and that like that warm, dry weather that can affect crops. So just, going around looking, is the color right? Is it off? Is it starting to fade out? And that can be because of water, or it could be a pest issue
Okay.
that could cause that. So you have to look a little closer and investigate that. Just if there are plants that are declining, you may want to clean that up, pull those out. Some things, you can cut back a little bit, trim off some of that, and still get some regrowth and have things look good for the rest of the season. As we, within the yard, we may have some spots there that either from the dry weather where the dried out, the grass went dormant.
Yeah.
We've had a few rains now that most things are coming back, but you might have spots that aren't, coming back.
Yeah. So are we thinking like reseeding or something at this point?
Yeah, that's possible. That might end up, if they don't come back within the next couple of weeks, those spots may have died out, and you may need to reseed. And we're really moving into that time frame now where it's probably the best time frame of the year for reseeding or seeding grass. We're moving into that period now, and that's because the days start to get a little shorter, the temperatures get a little cooler, both in the day and at night. And we usually have more consistent moisture this time of year, so we can get the seeds the seeds are warm. The soil is warm.
The soil's warm.
And the seeds will germinate faster, the fastest they're going to, and we can get a stand there and get that up and going. And why do it then? Really, because you've got two cool growing seasons to get that grass established before we go into another, hot summer next summer. So we'll have all fall, late summer, fall, and then next spring to get that to fill in where necessary.
So in essence, it kind of sounds like now would be the best time to do it, because that way the grass could become stronger by the time spring rolls around.
Yes. Yeah, and before we go into another stress period next summer. The other thing to look for is sometimes some of those spots could be caused by not just the dry weather, but it could also have been a disease. There's different diseases that can attack grasses, as well as
Animals.
insect damage by grubs. Can also chew off the roots and cause spots to be dead. So just kind of dig around a little bit in those spots. Does the grass just literally pull right out of the ground? Or if it's attached really well, that means the root system's still there, but it may just have not had enough moisture in those spots to keep going.
For the average home gardener, is it about time to start thinking maybe about some of the colder weather plants and like fruits and vegetables? Some of the colder weather stuff?
Oh, yeah. You want to be getting, if you're trying to plant, if you want some, fall cabbage or fall broccoli or cauliflower, those need to be in the ground.
By now, I guess, huh?
Yeah, or very soon. If you're growing, most of the time for the fall crops, you're going to have to plant your own seeds, start your own seeds, and you can either do that in the ground, or you can grow the transplants yourself.
Yeah, kind of grow it in the small plots and then transplant it when it gets too big.
Yeah, and set them out. Yep.
See, I'm learning a few things.
That's right, you are. Yeah, so that, you could have those, really you want to have those seeded. However, you could start that now if you just didn't get to it. And then, as long as you can cover them later in the fall to extend the season.
Right,
you can do that.
Okay.
So that's another way to do that. It's really not too late at this point to get those in.
Again, being a rookie as to all of this, whenever you're talking about covering something, whenever you talk about cover, I'm thinking like, okay, cover it with a blanket or get leaves or what? What are we talking about?
And usually what we're referring to now is, yes, you can cover it for a blanket for one night, but if you want to really extend the season, then you need a row cover.
Okay.
So that's that spun-bound polyester material, usually it's white, and it's they call it a floating row cover because it's very light. You got to attach it at all the ends to keep it in place because the wind will literally...
The wind will whip it around. It's that light.
Yes. Oh,
okay.
Yeah. And you can get hoops and make a mini tunnel. So a mini greenhouse, that's only 2 feet off the ground. It just looks like a greenhouse, but it's a miniature version of that. It goes right over your row. And so that'll allow the soil to stay warmer and hold the heat in better, and so we can extend the growing season by using that technique.
A lot of things people need to keep in mind as we start going into the change of seasons, getting out of the dog days, if you will,
right,
and getting into the time where we're about to see some foliage. I imagine this year we're probably going to see some beautiful foliage this year.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be the case.
I hope so, too. Hey, Bob, thanks very
You're
much for
welcome.
joining us on Indiana in the Morning. All the best. Can't wait to hear from you next week. Bob Pollock joining us from the Indiana County Extension Office here on Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. Our interviews presented by Marcus & Mack, voted Best Personal Injury Law Firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. And we are getting close to the top of the hour here on Indiana in the Morning. Coming up in our next hour, we'll have an interview at 8:45 with members of the Suicide Task Force here in Indiana County. They have a big event coming up in September, of course, the Walk for a Wonderful Life. We'll be getting some details about that and something concerning ducks, I believe, as well, because I saw that announcement coming out along the way about little rubber ducks. Also, we'll be talking with John Moses of the Altoona Curve at 9:45 and our friends over at Yarnick's Farm Market at 9:15 or so, and at 9:20 or so, it'll be our friends at PA Career Link. So that's coming up in the next couple of hours here on Indiana in the Morning.
This August, people are coming from everywhere. They're coming from Pittsburgh, Johnstown, and beyond. They're coming for TriStar Ford Kittaning's one last time sale. Save up to $10,000 off any F-150. Get 0% financing for 36 months. We're selling more than Fords by the shelves, desks, and doors. It's the last month you can get these deals at TriStar Ford Kittanning before we move forever. Or shop TriStarFordKittanning.com. All rebates apply. Not all buyers will qualify. See dealer for complete details and qualifications. Offer expires 8/31/24.
At McCabe Funeral Home, we understand that pets are family. They fill our lives with joy and unconditional love. When it's time to say goodbye, the emotions can be overwhelming. We're here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to ease that pain with compassionate pet cremation services. Trust us to handle your beloved pet with the utmost care, and we will come to you. McCabe Funeral Home, here to support you through your loss with compassion and dignity. Call us anytime at 724-254-2555.
GCES. Hey, it's Clint and Galen here from GCES. Since 2010, we've been helping families prepare for retirement.
In 2012, we made Indiana PA our home. It's where we put down roots and grew as part of the community.
We're here to make your retirement planning straightforward and easy.
If you have questions about your future in retirement, we have answers.
You can call us at 724-915-0000 or visit us online at gces.us.
GCES was voted Indiana's best financial planner in 2023.
GCES, turning retirement planning from a chore into something more.
Advisory services offered by Encompass More Asset Management, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Registration with the SEC does not imply a certain level of skill or training. GCES earned the rating of the Advisor of the Year on July 26, 2023, based upon voting done from 4/12/2023 through 4/26/2023. The contest was created and administered by bestofindianacounty.com. GCES did not pay bestofindianacounty.com or participate in the creation of the contest or results tabulation of the voting.
101.1 FM and AM 1160 WCCS, Homer City, Blairsville.
WCCS. It's a Soviet-style plan. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what former President Trump claims, attacking one of Vice President Harris's economic plans before she even unveils it today.
Kamala is reportedly proposing communist price controls. She wants price controls. And if they worked, I'd go along with it, too, but they don't work.
The vice president will detail her plan in North Carolina.
She is going to work on providing down payment assistance for first-time home buyers, expand tax credits for middle-class families, offer a larger tax credit for those who are having children, and cut taxes for those who may be having trouble paying health insurance. A lot, if not all of these ideas, though, would require Congress going to give its approval with.
Fox's Mark Meredith at the White House. The morning after 10 U.S. Navy service members were injured in a training incident at Naval Air Station Fallon. They're hospitalized in Reno, Nevada. We don't know what went wrong or how badly they're hurt. An escaped killer is back behind bars in North Carolina. Ramon Alston was captured at 2 a.m. at a hotel in Kannapolis.
Ending a manhunt that started on Tuesday when he broke away from a corrections officer while being taken to UNC Hospital in Hillsborough. Alston was serving a life sentence after being convicted of shooting a 1-year-old girl to death on Christmas Day in 2015. She'd been playing outside outside with her Christmas toys when she was hit by gunfire, according to her mother.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers, a woman found with Alston charged with aiding and abetting a fugitive. 4 men under arrest in Los Angeles in the death of actor Johnny Wachter from TV show General Hospital fame. 3 are facing murder charges. Wachter was shot when he came upon a group stealing the catalytic converter from his parked car in May. Those arrests hours after 5 people were charged in Matthew Perry's death.
As Matthew Perry's ketamine addiction grew, he wanted more, and he wanted it faster and cheaper. That is how he ended up buying from street dealers who sold the ketamine that ultimately led to his death.
DEA Administrator Ann Milgram. America's listening to Fox News.
68 in Indiana. Good morning. I'm Josh Whittison on WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. 8:02 on the 16th day of August, 2024. 2 motions concerning bond issues were approved at Thursday night's Homer Center School Board meeting. One motion permits the reimbursement of capital project expenditures already incurred once the district has a bond issue in place. The other is to start work with PFM Financial Advisors, LLC, as their financial advisor, Dinsmore and Stoll, LLP, as bond counsel, and the district solicitor to issue general obligation bonds. The amount will not exceed $3.5 million for the HVAC and building envelope projects for the district. Business manager Greg Kalemba said that number, $3.5 million, is just over the project's estimates.
That amount, current estimate with McClure & Company, who we're working with on our ESCO project, is just over 3.3. The 3.5 was put in there in case anything, just in the event that something is observed that isn't known at the time of the estimate.
The next step in the process will be to pass a parameters resolution. That is expected to come in September. The board also approved several motions in prep for the school year, including the Concurrent Enrollment Agreement Memorandum of Understanding between Shippensburg University and Homer Center, and approving continued participation with the Aaron IU-28 STEAM Lending Library for the upcoming year. WCCS News Time, 8:03, news brought to you by Indiana Regional Medical Center. If you're sick or injured, Urgent Care is now open at IRMC at Chestnut Ridge in Blairsville. Urgent Care also available at MedExpress, 2128 Oakland Avenue in Indiana. Now open and open 7 days a week from 8 till 8.
It may have been a while since you thought about COVID and the pandemic, but an alarming new study shows that a lot of us have forgotten something else: our annual checkups and health screenings. 40% of women have skipped or delayed a test, and it's 74% for women under age 45. It's almost as bad for men. Indiana Regional Medical Center Chief Medical Officer Dr. Richard Neff says we all stopped for a while.
People avoided the routine preventative care that they needed for their mammograms, for their colonoscopies, for the routine general visits that they have for the primary care doctors that help to prevent serious disease from developing.
It's time to get started again, and we should begin with a visit to our primary care physician or to the new walk-in clinic at IRMC. Checkups and screenings can help diagnose cancers, heart disease, diabetes, and so much more. Don't put it off any longer. Make that appointment today. IRMC. Better health, better life.
WCCS News Time, 8:04. A woman charged in connection with the death of her husband in July of 2023 is due in Indiana County Court today for a sentencing hearing. 37-year-old Lauren Bigeman pleaded guilty on July 1st to 4 counts of child endangerment and a single count of involuntary manslaughter and of possession of a controlled substance with intent to deliver. The charges stemmed from the death of 34-year-old Daniel Bigeman of Clymer, who died due to an overdose of a combination of fentanyl and xylazine. While investigating his death, troopers noticed that the children that Lauren was with were within reach of drug paraphernalia. Police said that she purchased the drugs that led to his death. However, 4 counts of reckless endangerment and a single count of drug delivery resulting in death were not prosecuted. A pretrial hearing is scheduled today for an earnest woman charged with child abuse. 25-year-old Paige Madison Sue Walker will go before Indiana County President Judge Thomas Bianco for today's hearing. She is charged with 2 counts each of aggravated assault, simple assault, harassment, and child endangerment connected with an investigation into incidents that started February 1st of this year. The State Police Criminal Investigation Unit filed charges on May 1st after an investigation at her apartment on Main Street in Ernestboro. She's been free since her arrest on $20,000 bond. One person suffered minor injuries in a crash last Friday in Rain Township. State police were called to the scene involving one vehicle along Route 110 around 5:36 p.m. They say the driver, 52-year-old Angela Hammer of Ernest, suffered a medical emergency while driving, crossed to a bank along the northbound lane, and crashed into a tree. Hammer suffered a suspected minor injury but was not taken to a medical facility for treatment. Citizens Ambulance personnel assisted state police on the scene. WCCS News Time approaching 8:07. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by S&T Bank, People Forward Banking.
Your happy place could be a reading chair in a south-facing window, a porch for your vegetable garden, or a flower garden that gets sunshine all day. And S&T Bank wants to help you get it. With an S&T Home Equity Total Line of Credit, you can afford to make it a reality and also afford all the extras to make it perfect. Whether it's outdoors or indoors, S&T Bank opens doors. Learn more about a Home Equity Total Line of Credit at stbank.com or visit a local branch. S&T Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
AM 1160 and 101.1 FM. WCCS.
Your AccuWeather forecast, mainly cloudy with an afternoon thunderstorm. Today's high 81. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, a couple of showers, a low of 68. Cloudy and humid with a few showers and a heavy thunderstorm, a high of 81 and a low of 65. Mainly cloudy Sunday with a few showers and a thunderstorm, a high of 75. That's expected to continue into Monday. More humid as well, a high of 70. In downtown Indiana, 68 degrees. In our news at 7:30, the 2024 United Way fundraiser starts today. The carnival event in downtown Indiana will kick off the annual campaign. Take WCCS wherever you go by listening online, using your mobile device or computer. Find the Listen Live link at WCCSradio.com. Brought to you by Indiana Regional Medical Center and Community Living and Learning. I'm Josh Woodison for WCCS. It's 8:08. Time for Sports in a Minute, brought to you by Indiana Regional Medical Center. Better health, better life. Here's Jake Slobodnik.
Okay, Josh, the Steelers held a joint practice with the Buffalo Bills, their opponent for Saturday, yesterday at Acrisure Stadium. You can hear comments from Coach Mike Tomlin and Assistant General Manager Andy Weidel inside this story at WCCSradio.com. No, he did not provide clarity on the whole Brandon Ayuk situation, but it's still worth a listen. Tomorrow's game airs at 5 on WDAD. Pirates open a 3-game weekend series tonight against the Seattle Mariners, looking to break their 10-game losing streak. Paul Skeens will start for the Pirates. It's a 6:15 airtime on WCCS. Altoona walked off Bowie last night thanks to a 3-run homer by Jace Bowen, the final 4-2. And Altoona has not announced a starter for tonight's 4th game of the series. Jack Benedict took a look at some possible breakout candidates for IUP football this year. Here is a report at WCCSradio.com. Also got news from IUP Volleyball, Little League World Series, NASCAR, and high school golf and volleyball news as well. And then coming up at the bottom of the hour, our next high school football preview today are the Marion Center Stingers, the sleeper team in the Heritage Conference. Hear why they could be coming up at the bottom of the hour. Sports in a Minute, brought to you by IRMC, Better Health, Better Life.
Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. It is 8:09 on the 16th day of August. I'm Josh Woodison in with Jake Slobodnik. Todd Marino has the morning off. So, Jake, you know me in games. I love playing games of all types, board games and all, especially.
Yep.
Scrabble, though, has always been kind of a hard game for me.
Really?
Well, I'm getting better at it. We'll say
Okay.
that. And I think now that they're introducing some new words to the official Scrabble dictionaries, I think I might be doing a little bit better. Did
Okay.
you know there was more than one official Scrabble dictionary, first off?
I could imagine.
Yeah, there's Merriam-Webster produces one here for the United States, but their Collins Dictionary has one that's used by most other English-speaking countries. So when they do the international tournaments, they combine the two.
Okay.
Collins just announced they're adding 2,000 new words to their official Scrabble dictionary, including a bunch of Gen Z slang.
Oh, no.
There'll be playable words starting January 1st, according to their tournament announcements.
Let me guess at some of these.
I'll get you to the list, but
Okay.
it's not clear how many of these are being added to the Merriam-Webster edition.
Okay.
Play accordingly, but go ahead, take a guess.
Okay, first is Riz.
Actually, no, Riz is
Wow.
not on the list that I have. I just have 10 of them here.
Okay, so it might be a little bit lower.
It might be a little bit lower on the list, but here's what we've got.
Okay.
Grammable.
Grammable?
That is spelled, for those wondering.
Oh, Instagram.
Grambale, something worthy of being posted on Instagram.
Okay.
Coulda, Coulda.
Oh, that drives me nuts.
Yeah, for could have.
That absolutely drives me nuts as a you and I as both somewhat copy editors.
Something like that.
That drives
yeah.
me crazy.
Editors, yeah. Anywho, ANYHOO. That's slang for anyhow or anyway.
It's not even N or NEWHO?
No.
That also...
That grinds your gears?
Oh, I'm getting mad.
Okay, here's a good one. Stan. Spelled just like you think. STAN.
Super fan.
Yep, to obsess over someone who's famous. This is in the Merriam-Webster dictionary.
That makes sense.
Amorite. Yeah, that one got me wondering around. One-word slang version of am I right, which is also in the Merriam-Webster version already. And in case you're wondering, it's spelled AMIRITE.
That's gross.
All right, nibbling.
Okay, like nibbling on food?
No, this is NIBLING. This is a gender-neutral term for a niece or nephew.
Move on.
Okay. Floof. FLOOF.
Dog?
Well, you could be. It's
Or
slang for any furry animal.
Okay.
Bougie. Now, how do you spell it?
BOUJEE.
Correct. Fancy or luxurious. Multiple spellings, though, are being accepted.
I'm not proud of knowing that, though.
Backney.
BACK.
No.
No.
BACANE. It's short for back acne.
But so the A is silent in acne.
Yeah. So it's backney. It's a portmanteau of words there.
No. I hate that.
And this is one that's going to grind my gears because I think it's overused. Yeet.
I had a feeling that was on there.
Yeah, meaning to throw, but also used to express excitement. See Jay Uso of WWE.
Or Mark Caboli of Steelers, former Steelers Insider. He got a job with the Pat McAfee show, and the first thing he tweeted was yeet.
Oh, figures.
He's actually now an insider for WWE, too, so that makes sense.
That makes sense. Spelled YEET, in case anybody was curious.
Yeet? What's yeet?
Yeet? Oh, boy. We trying to explain that to certain people, it just makes me wonder, is it worth it? But we try. These are words that you can use starting January 1st in tournament play. Hopefully somebody does get to a tournament.
And if this foreshadows anything, it's that society as a whole is failing.
As one of our predecessors used to say, as Bill Otto used to say, another sign of the apocalypse.
More stuff for us to talk about, though.
Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, Josh.
Indiana in the morning, it's 8:13 on WCCS.
Hey, it's Clint and Galen here from GCES. Since 2010, we've been helping families prepare for retirement.
In 2012, we made Indiana, PA our home. It's where we put down roots and grew as part of the community.
We're here to make your retirement planning straightforward and easy.
If you have questions about your future in retirement, we have answers.
You can call us at 724-915-0000 or visit us online at gces.us.
GCES was voted Indiana's best financial planner in 2023.
GCES, turning retirement planning from a chore into something more.
Advisory services offered by Encompass More Asset Management, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Registration with the SEC does not imply a certain level of skill or training. GCES earned the rating of the Advisor of the Year on July 26, 2023, based upon voting done from 4/12/2023 through 4/26/2023. The contest was created and administered by bestofIndianaCounty.com. GCES did not pay bestofIndianaCounty.com or participate in the creation of the contest or results tabulation of the voting.
I'm Mark Burdick, Regional Vice President of Renda Media, and we are proud to partner with Rosebud Mining Company to pay tribute to our unsung heroes. Those men and women who risked their own lives to save and to preserve the safety of their fellow neighbors, friends, and family. Each month, Rosebud Mining Company and Renda Media will be honoring and showcasing some of the finest first responders in our region, and we are asking for your support by nominating a first responder through any of our websites, including WCCSradio.com. Renda Media and Rosebud Mining Company will select one hero per month to showcase in a radio and video interview that will be archived on our first responder page of our websites. The first responder of the month will also receive a beautiful plaque from Rosebud Mining and Renda Media. Do your part in helping us to honor our unsung heroes, the first responders, by nominating them today. Look for our first responder page under features on our website at WCCSradio.com.
Indiana in the morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank on WCCS 8:16, the time right now. Let's go ahead and get into our health cycle. We'll start with House Call for Health.
This is House Call for Health. A recent study says even light drinking as an older adult harms your health. Alcohol linked to an increase in cancer deaths in older people, and that risk was even higher in groups who had other health problems or lived in low-income areas. Researchers following over 135,000 adults over the age of 60 for 12 years. Their data shows alcohol use, light or moderate, wasn't good for your heart either. Researchers say there was no reduction in heart disease deaths for light or moderate drinkers. The study did reveal that those who drink mostly wine or drink only with meals did moderate that risk of death. Study authors believe that could be due to slower alcohol absorption or possibly other healthy lifestyle choices. Findings appear in the journal JAMA Network Open. An update of the U.S. dietary guidelines is released every 5 years, which includes alcohol consumption. The current guidelines run through 2025. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Some other health headlines. The World Health Organization is declaring Mpox a global public health emergency. This comes following an outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo that spread across West and Central Africa. This is the second time in as many years the WHO has declared a global public health emergency for the disease, which was formerly known as monkeypox. The WHO Director General said, and I quote, "It's clear that a coordinated international response is essential to stop these outbreaks and save lives." There have been more than 17,000 suspected cases of Mpox and 517 deaths reported in Africa this year. The Biden administration says it has negotiated lower prices on 10 drugs that are commonly used by Americans on Medicare. Those discounts, announced yesterday, take effect in 2026 and will save enrollees an estimated $1.5 billion, that's billion with a B, in out-of-pocket costs. A study of patients with severe brain damage shows as many as 1 in 4 may have some awareness. These people who've suffered through devastating neurological issues, including coma because of aneurysms, falls, or car crashes. The study was led by Dr. Nicholas Schiff of Weill Cornell Medicine in New York, who also asked minimally conscious patients to imagine they were swimming or playing tennis. He says 25% of those patients showed the same brainwave patterns as healthy people and asked to perform those same tasks. Dr. Schiff now believes as many as 100,000 people who are in vegetative states with their eyes open may have some awareness. The USDA will expand testing for bird flu in beef entering the nation's food supply. The decision comes as almost 200 herds of dairy cattle have contracted bird flu since March. USDA officials said American beef and dairy products are still safe to consume, but the expanded testing will begin in mid-September. According to CDC, just over a dozen dairy and poultry workers have been infected with bird flu since April. United Health Group is sending letters to patients this week informing them their personal information may have been accessed during a cyber attack early this year. The information ranged from patient health conditions to social security numbers. The Minnesota-based health system has not said how many letters are being sent. United Health Group officials say they have fixed and restored systems while improving security. The company is offering free credit monitoring and identity theft protection for 2 years. So that's a look at our medical cycle today here on Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. And I do believe we are going to be busy in our 9 o'clock hour today, so let's go ahead and get an idea of what's going to be going on in the stock market. And to do that, we're going to go to our Money Matters report here in just a few seconds. But we want to remind you first about something that's coming up very soon, and I think everybody's looking forward to it. Our first vault opening is tomorrow at the YMCA of Indiana County at the corner of Ben Franklin Road and Philadelphia Street in White Township, near West Pike, I should say. And we want to let you know that if you are going, if you have qualified to be a vault entrant, and you either did that by calling us here at the station or by being notified after you put your name and address and phone number in a drop box at one of our sponsors, if you have qualified, you need to arrive at the YMCA of Indiana County by around 9:30. We're going to open the vaults in the pavilion area near the ball fields on the Ben Franklin Road side of the street. So please keep that in mind. And we're not going to go into the actual YMCA itself. Again, we're going to be at the pavilions. The registration starts at 9, and we start trying to pop the locks at 10. And we hope that you're able to win because we've got some really good prizes in our vaults this time around. So be sure to stay with us, though. I think starting on Monday of next week, we will start accepting more people to be nominated to qualify here on WCCS for the next vault opening, which will take place in October at Betty Lou's 2. Let's go ahead right now into that Money Matters report.
1% July, helping to ease some concerns about a possible recession. It's the biggest jump since January of 2023 and well above what most analysts were expecting. The numbers out Thursday from the Census Bureau were driven by auto, electronics, and appliance sales. Sales were also up across a number of other sectors as well, including groceries and building materials. All Americans' Social Security information could be compromised. Reports say hackers stole data from the National Public Data and tried to sell it, but then posted it online for free. The group claims to have nearly 3 billion records of personal data from North America and the UK. Experts say the best course of action is to freeze your credit files to prevent others from signing up for credit cards or other accounts in your name. Apple is reportedly pushing ahead with plans for an iPad-like tabletop device. Silvana Anau has that story.
Bloomberg says you may be able to use it to manage your smart home products, home security, and for video calls. It's said to have a thin robotic arm that moves around a large display screen and may be powered by Siri and Apple's new AI tools. The device could be launched as soon as 2026.
Donald Trump is laying out his plans for the economy if he's elected to the White House in November. During a rally this week in Asheville, North Carolina, Trump said he'll sign an executive order directing his cabinet to take action to bring down inflation and consumer prices in the first 100 days of his presidency. He added that he'll commit to slashing energy prices in half within 18 months. The former president spent much of his speech focusing on his political rival, Kamala Harris, accusing her of decimating the middle class with, quote, radical liberal policies. Trump's appearance comes as Harris is set to unveil her economic policies in North Carolina Friday. Consumer and business news, Aaron Raal, NBC News Radio.
Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. I think we have time to get to some guaranteed good news this morning.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
A postal worker from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia makes the Dean's List for making sure a young girl's message reached its final destination. 12-year-old Dia Modayer has been at camp this summer and wrote a postcard to her grandmother, but forgot to put a stamp on it. The camp counselor noticed the missing stamp, and since they didn't have one, decided to write a note and attach it to the mailbox. It read, "Dear postal worker, at our summer camp we made postcards, and this person sent one out to their grandmother without a stamp. If you can find it, could you please return it to the McPhee Center or use the stamp we've attached on the back of this page?" The next day, there was a response that said, "Found it and stamped it. Have a great day." It was later revealed that Christine Fong was the postal employee that went through every single piece of mail until she found the postcard to make sure it was stamped. Sometimes it's the little things that make a world of difference. Janice Dean, Fox News.
Good news, ladies and gentlemen.
Good news is good news, and the good news is...
I've got good news and good news. Pretty good.
Put some good in your morning.
Good news, there's a monkey jumping on houses in the neighborhood.
Guaranteed good news for this Friday morning, the 16th of August. A 19-year-old panda named Ying Ying is a new mom after giving birth to twins at a zoo in Hong Kong yesterday, a boy and a girl, oldest panda on record to become a first-time mom. A wedding ring lost in 1963 turned up 61 years later. A guy in Kentucky named Glenn Gregory lost it near a tree on his farm that he planted with his wife Barbara right after they got married. They weren't able to find it. Sadly, Glenn passed away in December. Barbara had him buried underneath the same tree. Finally got around to adding the headstone this month, and while workers were digging a trench for it, they found the ring. That's pretty cool. And how clever is this? A bunch of people in London raised over $4,000 to send a 63-year-old street cleaner on a vacation. He's named Paul Spears. He's only been out of the UK once in his life, and he wanted to take a trip to Portugal. He couldn't take the money, though, because city workers aren't allowed to accept monetary gifts. A travel website, though, stepped in to help. A company called On the Beach decided to hold a contest with a $4,000 trip to Portugal as the grand prize, but they had certain rules. You had to be between 62 and 64 to enter, had to be loved by your community, had to be a street cleaner in London, and have the last name Spears. Okay, that got around the red tape. The company okayed it. They also matched the original amount people donated, so it's being donated to a cancer charity. Let's get to the Sports Minute.
This is Boomer Esiason with a Sports Minute, sponsored by Wrangler. It's Wrangler season out there. Open roads, endless horizons. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles. Today's birthday shout-out goes to Caleb Dressel, the 27-year-old unretired to win 2 more Olympic golds and a silver in relay events in Paris. He also had the pleasure of bringing his 5-month-old son, August, onto the pool deck, which I thought was a really great scene. I'm Boomer Esiason.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Vanguard is 100% client-owned, serving over 50 million investors every day. Whether you're planning for retirement, putting your kids through college, or saving up for your next adventure, Vanguard can help you set personalized investment goals. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Copyright 2024, The Vanguard Group, Inc., all rights reserved, Vanguard Marketing Corporation Distributor.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Grammer. Wounded Warrior Project supports injured veterans by connecting them with fellow warriors, by serving them through mental health and wellness programs, and by empowering them to live on their own terms. No one should face a battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
You can save up to $850 at Mattress Warehouse right now, and trust them when they say that'll go a long way. Visit mattresswarehouse.com.
It's the Train Unstoppable event. Unstoppable solutions and unbelievable deals. There's never been a better time to buy a Train. When you buy a new energy-efficient heating and cooling system, you save today and lower your energy costs over time. It's a win-win for you. It's hard to stop a Train. Special offers and financing available. Call your local Train comfort specialist, Miller Plumbing and Heating, for details. Call 724-349-6676. Subject to credit approval. See store for details. PA license 014576.
Attention food lovers and supporters of local farmers. Mark your calendars for the Indiana County Farmers Market. June to October, every Saturday, 9 to noon, behind the S&T building on 8th Street. Explore locally produced vegetables, fruits, farm fresh meats, eggs, baked goods, and more, straight from the heart of Indiana. Returning this year is the matching program. Shoppers using EBT, also known as SNAP, can stretch their dollars further and take home even more fresh food for free. Come to the Farmers Market, make a difference, and support local farmers.
In Indiana, the Northern Appalachian Folk Festival means music with the Summer Concerts in the Park series at Memorial Park. This Sunday the 18th, come enjoy the Side Effects Band. They'll play rock and fiddle music from the 1960s to this century. Get excited with their upbeat vibe. That's the Side Effects Band. Bring your lawn chairs and snacks. Free admission. Donations are appreciated. The Northern Appalachian Folk Festival means music all summer long. For the current schedule, go to naffinc.org.
If you think milk is a food you can live without, consider this. Milk is so special, it's the first food you eat. It's so good for you, you can live on nothing but milk for at least the first 6 months of your life. It's packed with nutrition for kids and adults. Just 1 8-ounce glass of milk supplies 30% of the daily allowance of calcium, 25% of the daily allowance of vitamin D, 16% of the daily allowance of protein, and much more. Brought to you by the Allied Milk Producers.
Take a look at the First Commonwealth Message Center when you pass by our downtown Indiana studios. It'll keep you up to date with all of the latest news, sports, and weather. First Commonwealth Bank, time to be first. Member FDIC.
67 in Indiana. Good morning. I'm Josh Whittison on WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. 8:30 on this 16th day of August, 2024. The 2024 United Way fundraiser starts today.